This video is only part of an unpaid, unbiased, in-depth review from an average rider's perspective, so check out the rest in the link below at thegoodride.com. If you want real advice, fill out the Me Harmony profile in the link below so I can help you properly. And if this video helps, please consider donating or buying through our links. Thanks for watching. Welcome to The Good Ride. I'm James Beastie, and I try a lot of shit. And this is the Jones Orion binding, new for 2023. Next to it is the Christensen Meteorite that I tried this year. Last year I got on the Apollo and the Mercury and the regular Meteorite, which has a different footbed than this and a few other different things. I wish I had the regular Meteorite to compare these three together. It would have been cool to have the Mercury too, but this year this will be mainly compared to the Jones Christensen because I got on these with the same boards and same boots. My Burton Kendos, the Jones Mind Expander, Ultra Mind Expander, and a few other boards here and there. So to give you a quick summary, I think this is just like so many Jones bindings these days, more responsive than most now bindings that are similar, and it just offers up this very damp, very smooth ride that the faster you go, the more responsive it feels because of that dampness. It doesn't chatter and buck, so at higher speeds you have more control. It's just a comfortable binding. The only drawbacks are there's just almost no adjustability, and there is some pressure you can get along the gas pedal here on the metatarsal of your foot, right before your toes, if you don't have a stiff-soled boot. So if you have a soft-soled boot, stay away from these. And if you like adjustability, stay away from these. But if you want the dampest, most shock-absorbent ride in this price point, in this category, this is one of your best choices. Now let's talk weight. These are 2 pounds. So are the Christensens. I think so are most of the Jones bindings. And these guys are the same weight as the Meteorite and the Mercury at 2 pounds too. The Apollo is 1.8 pounds, so it's a little lighter. Now let's talk Highback Flex, and that's kind of one of the unique things about this binding here. It's nice and stiff in the black area here, and in this kind of tan area, it's got a nice easy twist and a good bit of give. And then it's just much stiffer down there. In comparison to the Jones Meteorite Christensen Surf Series, it's similar in terms of flex along the top, but this feels a little softer here, and then at the bottom, stiffer, where this feels a little more continuous throughout. I think they're putting up like a stiffer spine in the middle. So overall, both have a similar flex. They just have different flex personalities in different places. And when you can't rotate the high backs, it's nice that these both have twist so they don't bite into your calves if you happen to have wonderfully even featured calves like I do. Now, when it comes to flex underfoot and buttering, that's just not what Now and Jones do really well. But I will tell you one thing, they don't deaden the ride underfoot. And that's because you have these rubber stoppers, and then you have the disc here. So you have a lot of contact with the board, but it doesn't deaden it like those old school bindings do that were just like one plastic bottom. So what they do make the board do is they stiffen it up and dampen it up. So if you're into stiffer and damper without feeling dead, then you're gonna love these. And that's the same throughout all the Jones line. Now, when it comes to turn initiation and response, I really didn't notice too much of a difference. Same day tests against the Christensen Meteorite. It's just, might be just ever so subtle differences, but overall it's a very similar mid-level response that's nice and smooth and continuous throughout the turn. And what I did find though is with Now, and especially so with Jones these days, is they become more responsive at higher speeds because they dampen your board and they help you set that edge better and keep it set. So I just feel more comfortable at higher speeds making turns with Jones and Now bindings. In comparison to Now lately, last year I did a test with the new Jones line of bindings, the Apollo, the Mercury, and the Meteorite. And they were more responsive than their Now counterparts. It was interesting, but Jones seemed to step up the response game a bit. Now, when it comes to shock absorption and dampness, nobody's better in the business, in my opinion. These rubber stoppers seem to reduce all the vibrations in the ride. Then this nice, soft EVA shock absorption throughout the footbed helps with slow speed stuff, an off landing, and just regular shock absorption. The Christensen has a softer EVA foam, and I like this a little bit more dense EVA foam because it's still shock absorbent and it doesn't weight you down into this binding as much. And I especially like it up near the toe because this sway bar can cause pressure points if you have a softer soled boot. What I found is when I had the soft sole boots like Adidas Tactical ADVs, they have just a super soft, cushy sole. The sway bar in these bindings would push up into my metatarsal, right where my toes in and my foot begins, and cause a lot of pressure and therefore stress my arch. So Peter and I both, like halfway through the day, had to stop the reviews because we were both wearing Adidas Tactical ADVs. Now that I'm on Burton Kendos as my daily driver, they're better, but I still feel some pressure. What you really want is a stiff soled boot with these. Like for example, the 32 TM2 Jones, that has a really stiff sole, but it still has some shock absorption. And when you pair those two together, you won't feel anything. But you're often trading one for the other. Like for example, with Burton, you have nice soft EVA foam, so you have excellent shock absorption, but you don't have as much dampness. And with my Union Atlas, a binding I love, mainly because of adjustability and a lot of other things, but you have rubber throughout, so you have the dampness, but not the shock absorption. These balance the two really well. Now, when it comes to ankle support, I like this strap. I don't like it as much as these new straps on the other Jones bindings, but it's still really good. And I love the toe straps. They're very good. Ratchets didn't bother me either way. I think they're nice and smooth and they seem very reliable. I have some friends who've had these for a full season, 100-day season. Not like 10 and 15 days. And the ratchets are working perfectly. I also like the Hanger 3.0 footbed. The wider the better with me. But if you like something a little more locked in and you want a narrower footbed to really surround your boots and hold it in there, then you want to go with the Christensen Meteorite. They are Hanger 2.0. The regular Meteorites are 3.0. But to sum it up support-wise, this has a nice balance between freedom of movement and support when you need it in uneven terrain. When it comes to adjustability, there is pretty much none. There's no high back rotation. There's no footbed adjustment. There's none of that. I'm lucky. I'm a size 9 boot, so I fit kind of dead center in this. I'm always kind of in the middle of the sizing, and that's perfect for yours truly. I can turn my discs sideways and slide them tip to tail. You can't do much, but you can do a little. But most people will have to slide them heel to toe and turn them that way so you can center the binding on board and therefore center your boot on the board or get closer to it. You can't do it like you can with other bindings that have excellent adjustability. All you can do is really adjust the straps and the high back, forward lean. That's it. So overall, I wish they had a guard over the sway bar. That would just make this so much more recommendable. And for some who crave a lot of adjustability and really like centering your boot in the binding and therefore on your board, and like a lot of stance with adjustability, might not want a Jones or a Now binding. But if you like the idea of this soft, tweakable high back, along with a more cushy, mellow ankle strap, and you want a little more dense EVA foam than the Meteorite and the Christensen Meteorite, you got the Orion. And you'll get a very damp, very shock absorbent, very smooth ride for all day riding.